Hey guys, welcome to the Smart Venture Podcast. In each episode, we're going to have conversations with some of the top investors, superstar founders, as well as well-known tech company executives in Silicon Valley. We'll have a coffee chat with them to learn their way of thinking and actionable tips on how they build or invest in a successful company. Before we start our show today, I want to make sure the listener, aka you, understand that everything a person say on the podcast only reflects hers or his own opinion, not the show or the company they work at. Our guest today is a former co-CEO at Chipotle Mexican Grill. He took a Denver-based burrito company to Fortune 500 status. To build a successful culture, he spent most of his time having one-on-one conversations with more than 20,000 employees at Chipotle. The result was a culture of empowerment where each person was rewarded and promoted for how effective they were in making the people around them better. Prior to joining Chipotle, he was the head of litigation and then managing partner and CEO at the Denver-based law firm Messner and Reeves, LLC, which he led for 10 years. He is currently working on an up-and-coming documentary series that's about to be released on PBS station nationally called Connected, A Search for Unity. His name is Monty Moran. Welcome to the second part of the conversation with Monty. In the last episode, we talked about how Monty started his career in law and developed his management philosophy. In this episode, we'll focus on how Monty navigated his career in leadership at Chipotle. Please enjoy.
Beyond all the skills I have that might make me a good leader, the thing I think is most important is that I actually care about the people I'm leading, that I love them, that I care about them, that I want to see them at their best, that I can quickly come up with ways that I can perhaps help them be at their best, that I can help remove obstacles that are in their path that are causing them to not be the best version of themselves, that I can help empower them. Which, and I talk about empowerment a lot in the book, and I give a very specific definition, which you've read. And that definition to me is a very important definition, because if you look at that definition, you can decide what part of that definition is missing, and you can correct that. And if you correct that, you're going to have empowered people. And guess what's more powerful than anything in the world, people-wise, at least? I don't want to say it's more powerful than volcanoes and the universe or something. But the most powerful thing we as people have in the world, is cooperation, unity, wanting something, all of us together, wanting something. That's what's powerful. Okay. I mean, and there's even famous leaders in history who have been bad people, but have been able to harness a huge army around their bad vision and have gone and done powerfully bad things. I use these words in quotes because you know how I feel about those terms. But likewise, if you're able to galvanize a whole bunch of people around something that's very positive and that will help your organization or help humanity, that's a hugely powerful thing. You think about what the great leaders in the world have done. They've been able to gather people around a vision. Dr. Martin Luther King had the most powerful, wonderful, amazing, infectious, delicious, loving vision. And I think anyone with a heart who listens to his speeches and sees his passion for accomplishing something great in this world, it's hard not to get infected by that. And when he got shot and killed, his vision grew stronger. And it's stronger today than in the late 1960s when he espoused it. It's stronger now, his vision. So visions are incredibly powerful. And when somebody really believes in those visions and teaches others to see their vision, that's very powerful. There's nothing more powerful a leader can do than galvanizing a whole group of people towards a very positive and powerful vision while helping them become the most powerful version of themselves. You think about a crew boat, for example, like the Olympic guys, they row, they've got a bunch of people one before the other, and they're rowing these boats really fast. How do you win? Well, you make sure that each person is the very, very best they can be, that they work really hard to become very fit, that they all row in unison with the right cadence, the right speed, and they don't clank oars with each other, and they don't get in each other's way, and they don't make each other worse, and you go fast. So creating that cooperation, that camaraderie, that unity, the connectedness of a team is very, very, very powerful. And any leader who can do that well is going to lead well, presuming that they're a person who is going after a vision that's worthy.
How do you unite people? Different people want different things. How do you let them to go to the same direction? In terms of taking actions, you mentioned that you are great with numbers, but from our interaction, you seem really charismatic and emotion driven. Those characteristics seems like are led by different brains. And those are almost two different management styles.
Yeah. I kind of don't believe in some ways, I don't believe in management style. And let me tell you what I mean by that. I mean, you're right. There are management styles. There's no doubt that they exist, but I don't believe that that's what's important. I believe that people can come about management or leadership with lots of different ways, right? Some can be loud and boisterous. I might be more that way. Some can be very quiet and contemplative. Some can be bossy, and some can be really polite. All of those different approaches actually can be successful. All of those different approaches can be unsuccessful. The thing that creates success isn't that style. It's which leader actually cares about their people and can empower them. Can espouse a great vision, can understand what their people want, and can help their people get what they want. Because when we think about what people want for a moment, so let's go back to that, because you mentioned people want all different things. Well, not really. Okay, I don't think people really want different things.
You mentioned the book. So
yeah, yes, they do. Of course they do, Grace, and of course you're right. But I'm being a little bit devil's advocate here. But I believe that what everyone really wants is to be seen, valued, loved, and understood. That's what we really want. We want to be seen, or we want someone to see our heart. And then we want them to love us. We want them to accept us. We want them to understand us. We want them to say, even if I'm in a bad mood and I just said something nasty, we want them to see through that and go, I know why he said that. I know why he said something nasty, because he's in a bad mood, but I see his heart and I love him. And that's what we want, right? We want to be understood. Seen, valued, loved, and understood. That's what we want. Now, all of us imperfect human beings go about, and me being incredibly imperfect, we all go about it in very, very different ways. Some people try to get rich and buy office buildings and put their name on top of the building in big, bold letters and say, aha, maybe if I have my name on the top of an office building, then people will see, value, love, and understand me. Now, they're not necessarily thinking of it in that way, but it is what they want. So if we can help people to be seen, valued, loved, and understood, then they are getting what they want, and they will feel better and start to grow and blossom. In the book, I talk about how it is the natural state of any living being. It is the natural state of any living being to grow and blossom, okay? To become more and wiser and richer mentally. Growth is natural. I mean, even when you're 85 years old and you're declining physically, perhaps, you're still growing. Growing is still what's natural. Now, your body may be leaving you behind. Your body may not become, becomes worthless and eventually dies. But it doesn't mean you stop growing. You don't stop growing. If you are in a healthy mental state, growth is what happens. So when you put a seed in the ground, if it gets the right conditions, soil, water, sunlight, it grows. Okay? If it doesn't, it might not. So what I get my kicks out of as a leader is finding when I see someone who isn't getting the soil they need, the sunlight they need, the water they need, I try to give them that ingredient. Now you can analogize those ingredients. For instance, a leader the leader's goal is to take a seed, which means a person in my analogy, and give it good soil. Okay. Good soil, which means a good culture. Okay. Good external circumstances. Okay. Or encouraging circumstances. That's soil. Okay, put it in good soil, and then you give it make sure it gets plenty of sunlight, which is a vision. So it has a vision to grow towards that sunlight. And you give it plenty of water, and the water is leadership. Okay, support, care, love, understanding, challenging, and if you give people those things, they'll naturally grow. A leader should look out into their workforce, and if they find any evidence that someone isn't growing or isn't at their best, that should bother the leader. The leader should say, I want Grace to be at her best. She doesn't seem at her best today. Let me talk to her. Grace, you seem down the last couple of days. I'm so sorry to see that. Are you okay? Well, I'm fine. No, really, Grace, are you okay? What can I help you with? Well, actually, it's been a lousy couple of days because my dog died. Oh, God, I'm really sorry your dog died. Wow, that is hard. Wow, well, take the day off if you want. No, it's okay. I'd rather be here work. But if I just see you and see that you're going through something, care enough to ask about it, offer my help, and notice when you're not at your best, Grace, guess what? You're going to be more at your best. You're going to go, wow, I can't believe he just came over and actually noticed and cared about me as a person. That's kind of cool. I feel better just being seen and understood and loved and cared for. So the leader's first and largest job is to create that culture in the workplace where people, everybody, is seen, valued, loved, and understood. Now, of course, it's not just that simple, right? Because you might get someone in there who's like, they don't really care about the vision. They don't want to do it. You might have to fire that person. Okay. They might be better off doing something else, going elsewhere. So it's not just as simple as that, but it is a huge, huge part of it.
Yeah. I really like what you said about showing people that you care about them as people. The actions you took, for example, when you were running a law firm, you gave young associates a chance to directly working with clients. You give them exposure so they could grow faster and they do better quality of work. You also went undercover to go through the Chipotle training program to get a better understanding of the management system. Those are all things most leaders won't do. Also, when you are an employee, you pick the most hands-on cases instead of the fancy ones, so you gain more direct court experiences. How do you think so differently from most people? Many of our listeners are young, ambitious professionals and leaders. What can we do to implement this way of thinking and operating to our day-to-day life?
Yeah. I mean, I would start with whatever it is you're doing now with your life. Do it with all your heart. Don't do it to try to get to the next step.
Right.
Because you aren't God and you don't know. I mean, you're not God, but I can talk about that later. But you're not the whole God. You don't know the whole thing. So you don't necessarily know what's best for you, except that I can guarantee that what's best for you is to live in the present and do your very best at what you're doing right now and put your heart and soul and love into it, because then you will do a better job at it. You will have a higher quality day. Okay. And if you have a higher quality day, 7 days in a row, that's a higher quality week. And if you have 4 higher quality weeks, that's a high quality month. Okay. And if you have 52 high quality weeks, or 12 high quality months,
year.
that's a high quality year. Okay. And then if you keep doing that for your whole life, you have a high quality life. All right. If you bring your full attention, I hear too often that people are like, oh man, this job is like a dead end job, man. I can't wait till I get something better. I can't wait till I get something better. Why should someone give you something better if that's your attitude about what you're doing right now? Why should they? Why should somebody who gets a gift and it's a little gift, and if they don't like it, they go, there's a little gift. I don't like little gifts. Well, then why would you give a big gift if they can't appreciate a little gift? Okay. So that little gift is whatever you're doing right now. It's a gift. Whatever job you have right now, that's a gift. Whatever somebody is willing to, if someone's willing to pay you money to do something and it's your first job, be delighted. Do it with all your heart. Do a great job. They'll notice that you do a great job. And if they don't notice that you're doing a great job, at least you'll notice that you're doing a great job. And if you don't notice, somebody else will notice and they'll ask you to do more. Why will they ask you to do more? Because you're worthy of doing more, because you've got experience in doing what you're doing. You're getting better at it. You're growing, you're blossoming, and you can handle more. And when you can handle more, you'll get more. There's a concept in the universe that nature abhors a vacuum. Okay. Nature doesn't like a vacuum. What does nature do with a vacuum? It fills it. If you have a great big vacuum, big thing full of glass vacuum thing, how do you have to keep it? It's very hard to keep a vacuum because the air is leaking in and it might break. And, so nature abhors a vacuum. What does nature do with a vacuum? It fills it. If you are an incredibly hardworking person that gives your love and attention and full, and tries to be excellent at what you're doing and bring goodness into it and find a way to do it really well, you're doing something really, really well. And there are other things in the world that need to be done. That's the vacuum. Nature is going to absorb people who can do greatness into things where greatness is needed. It just happens.
Yeah. So I have a question about this. You were mopping the floor when you were younger, right? So you were working as a janitor. Do you think that doing a good job is enough? Later on in your career, you were running a law firm. The Chipotle founder saw your good work at your law firm, so they tried to convince you to join Chipotle. So at one point, someone have to discover you, or you have to show them your work, right? Let's use podcasting as an example. Business podcast takes a long time to research and edit. But look at the top podcasting chart. Most of it's full of entertainment-related topics, same as with television. The top shows are not necessarily educational or that good for you. Even I feel like I'm creating a lot of value, but how do I convince people that I'm doing a good job if they don't really paying attention to the topic?
So okay, lots. I understand. I really understand what you're saying. Lots of struggle, lots of wondering, gee, what about why is that selling? What I'm doing is really neat and good and real. And that seems like a bunch of, I would say, first of all, we got to silence our minds and not worry about what others think about anything for a minute. Let's bring quality and excellence to whatever it is we do. There is generally an assumption that, like when people talk about me, for example, they might say, Monty Moran once used to be a janitor. He worked at Dairy Queen. Then he was a janitor. Then he was a car part salesman. Then he sold. Then he was a car mechanic. And then he went to college. And then finally, then he was a lawyer for 10 years and became a CEO of his law firm. And then he was CEO of Chipotle or co-CEO of Chipotle. Like they look at that as the high point. Well, that wasn't the high point. It wasn't the low point. It was just that's what was happening between my ages of, let's say, 39 and 51 or whatever it was, 38 and 51, whatever, when I was at Chipotle. That's what was happening during that point in my life. That wasn't better. It wasn't anything. It was just, that's what I was doing during that point in my life. When I was a janitor, mopping floors and cleaning up poop, in bathrooms, that was not a less worthy time of my life. It wasn't a less educational time of my life. It wasn't less at all. I made less money, but even that doesn't matter. During that time of my life, it was a profound job during which I learned a lot, during which I felt feelings, during which I learned the truth, during which I was curious, during which I met lots of old people because it was a senior citizen center. And they taught me things and I felt beautiful relationships with them. It was a rich, rich time of my life, even though I made $5 an hour. Although it was $5 an hour after tax. That was good. So that was a rich time of my life. It wasn't less rich than being CEO of Chipotle. Now, it's true that being CEO of Chipotle, I was able to influence a lot more people, and that was wonderful. That was very satisfying to me. Any place I go and put my attention now, though, if I'm putting my attention and I'm putting my best into it, it's going to yield positive results because I have something to give. Okay, each of us has something to give. Our job as human beings is to give that which we can give. Okay? Our job is to give that which we can give. All right? Mother Teresa, one of the most admired people in world history, not one of the richest in money, but definitely one of the richest in spirit. Mother Teresa, what did she do? Mother Teresa found someone who was ill, felt compassion and love towards them, picked them up, and helped them. And when she was able to help that person, then she picked up another person and helped them. Then she picked up another person and helped them. And she kept doing this and doing this and doing this and doing this until she had done this for thousands. And then she got other people going, hey, can I help you do that? Yes, you can. How can I help you? Well, pick up someone and help them. And she ended up, now she's influenced the entire world. Okay. And she's one of the most admired people in history, more admired than just about any United States president. No, I think any United States president, for example. She's more admired if you do a survey. Okay. Way more admired. And so let's not look at what we're doing and say, I'm just doing a little useless thing. Let's say, what can I give today to help those who are around me, to help the situation I'm in, to help the situation others are in? What can I do to help? How can I help? And if we ask, what can I do to help? What value can I bring? How can I be of service? If we just ask those questions every day, and then we bring the skill we have, whatever skill we have, we may be less skilled at some point in our life and more skilled later in our life. But whatever skill and effort and goodness we can bring, let's bring it to the situation in front of us. And if we do that, we will find more and more and more ways to give, to serve, and to be of help. And as we do that, it is a certainty that we will have a fulfilled life if that's our focus. It'll be a certainty that we'll be successful if that's our focus. Now, will that success mean that we have $100 billion? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Will the success mean that we have $7, but we're really, really happy? Maybe. So if we just trust that it is the highest and best use for us to give the most we can to ourselves and those around us and our world, to serve, to give, to be of service. If we trust that, and I do trust that, okay, then great things will happen to us. Life will unfold in a way that will be rich and interesting and excellent. And it will also have pain and suffering and anxiety too. I promise you that becoming a CEO is no solution for anxiety, pain, and suffering. It will not diminish your anxiety, pain, and suffering. It will not diminish the hardship in your life. It will add interesting things. It will be challenging and fun and exciting and rewarding, but it will also be the converse of those things. The human experience is difficult. We feel difficult feelings. It's hard being a human being. We have all these nerves. Things offend us. It's offensive when we're too hot. It's offensive when we're too cold. It's offensive when someone yells at us. It's offensive when someone goes, I don't like you, or acts like they don't like us, or cuts us off in traffic and flips us off. It hurts. So it hurts to be a human, but that doesn't mean it's not worth being a human. It is worth being a human. It's a wonderful, wonderful gift to be a human being with all these nerves and cells and all this potentiality. But let's use our potentiality to give the most we can to others, because that addition to the unity of the human creature, of the human race, and of animals too, and the environment, like being a very positive participant in this universe is something too few people are trying to do. Okay. And those who do it are having such wonderful success. You just have to define success correctly. And success, I think, means growing, becoming the best version of yourself through growth and openness and love and creativity and curiosity and hard work.
I love the philosophy behind it. You're super great at articulating your thoughts, and you're really mission driven. In terms of taking actions, how do you know what to do? When you started working at Chipotle, how do you know you need to go undercover? You feel
the answer to your question, I think, is when you get into a new situation, ask the obvious questions. Okay? You will be guided by the obvious questions. When I first went to Chipotle, as an official employee, so this is after I was sort of general counsel for 10 years, but I finally joined as an employee in 2005. Mm-hmm. I went in to the restaurants and I thought, oh my God, what can I do? There's hundreds of restaurants already, Chipotle's. There's thousands of employees. What can I do? What can I do to help? Okay, that's an obvious question, right? I mean, what could be more obvious? Hey, I'm the new president and COO. That was my title initially. I arrive on the scene. I've got this. I'm getting paid a lot of money. I'm in a very high position. I better do something, right? I mean, right? Talk about obvious. Mm-hmm. So I go, what can I do? Okay, so you ask, what can you do? Well, I could clean every counter I came in front of. I could tell people, hey, that taco isn't made right, or hey, that burrito is not rolled right. Okay, that's not going to be very useful, because anyone could do that who knows how to roll a burrito. Okay, what can I do? And I thought, well, if I can help create a higher quality general manager in every restaurant. So if I can get the best possible general managers in every restaurant with the best training, the best most encouraging circumstances, the best tools to do the job, that is the thing I can do that will help this company the most, because a great manager will hire better people, empower those people, run better throughput, have better food cost, take better care of their equipment, calibrate it properly, take better care of their FF&E, the equipment and the fixtures and the furnishing, keep the heat at the right level, keep the music at the right level, create a great customer experience. It's like they'll do it all. I just need to help create the very, very best manager I can. And so as I talked about in the book, I set about doing that. And how to do it was obvious when I kept asking obvious questions. For instance, hey, all of our managers are guys, mostly men, mostly white people who have prior fast food experience. And we have these crew who are men and women, mostly Hispanic, really awesome at their jobs, but very, very few of them ever become managers, even though they're much, much, much better at what they're doing than their managers. Why? Why are we doing this? So I asked HR, why are we doing this? Well, we got to get people with experience. Why? Why do we need experience? Turns out we don't. We don't need experience. We can teach someone to do it. What's better? Okay, someone with fast food experience. What is fast food experience, Grace? What is it? What is fast food experience?
Just fast food experience.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: what is fast food? When I say fast food, what do you think of?
Someone give me something that like in a really short speed, and that could be just like eat right away or something.
Yeah. I mean, do you think of delicious, wonderful, excellent food?
That was not the first thing come to my mind.
I'm just asking what comes to your mind. Don't overthink it. No. The answer is no. You think of something that's uninspiring, mediocre, probably cold by the time you get it, and handed to you by someone who probably didn't care much and who wasn't paid much and doesn't really want to be there. Okay? That's fast food experience. Okay? People who work at a place that has mediocre food that doesn't really want to be there. Often, not always, often. Okay, so we hired for people who had that experience. We wanted people with that experience, serving mediocre food really fast, that's really cheap with bad ingredients. That's what we were looking for. Why? The answer is we shouldn't be. So instead of that, what I said is, hey, instead of hiring people from the outside who have this experience, let's look for people, first of all, who have the right characteristics to be excellent. People who care, who are motivated and ambitious, infectiously enthusiastic, happy, hospitable, presentable, whatever. Okay? Mm-hmm. Let's hire for the characteristics, because you can't train those characteristics. Mm-hmm. If you hire the wrong characteristics, you're stuck with the wrong characteristics forever, right? You're not going to fix the characteristics. But you can train someone, because training someone to be a manager at Chipotle is not very difficult. I mean, it takes some time and you have to teach things, but it's not. It's something that most people can learn. So you get someone excellent and then you teach them that. So that's what we did. So we started hiring people instead of for their experience, we hired for characteristics. Also, we started promoting from within, promoting the very, very excellent people we already had in our ranks. Okay. So over the years, our manager workforce changed. They were much, much brighter. They were much more diverse in terms of ethnicity. There were more women. So it became women and men more equally. Okay. It became the people who were rising into that position were excellent because they grew up from excellent crew people who we knew were excellent, who we knew showed up every day, who we knew cared, who we knew had a nice smile, who we knew cared about the customers, who we knew cooked great food. Okay. We hired them and started moving them up. So we started promoting tens of thousands of people, 10,000 people a year into management positions. It was obvious, but you had to ask the basic questions. You had to ask the obvious questions that everyone else was trying to be too sophisticated to ask. Of course we have to hire for experience. No, you don't. Oh, no, you don't. Not for Chipotle, you don't. So you have to ask the obvious questions, and usually answers come to those obvious questions, which allow us to make a huge impact. And I talk about all that stuff in the book in a lot more detail. But it had an enormous impact, and it made the culture much more fun, and it brought a lot more enthusiasm because people are like, hey, wow, they're going to promote us crew people to be the future managers. And then the other thing is, we wanted to make sure that people focused on making the people around themselves better. That was a goal. We're going to promote people who help other people the best. We're going to promote people who make others better. And that was a huge, huge learning, as I talk about in the book.
I feel like you always have a new way of thinking things. In the law firm, you decided to recreate the structure or redefine the fast food experience. Those are things I never questioned. I've never thought about why it worked that way. How do you always thinking outside the box?
I think it's a very important question. It has to do with curiosity. Okay. I think that if we tap into our inner curiosity, and we allow ourselves to really be fresh. It's almost like you want to be reborn as a child every day. What do little kids do? Well, little kids ask questions. Little kids don't think that they know the answer. Okay. So they try to learn the answer. They don't think they know. So they ask. They don't think they know. So they're curious. Mm-hmm. Here's what happens. As we grow into adults, we start to think we know. Mm-hmm. Guess what? We still don't. We still don't. If you look at all the knowledge there is to have out there, let's just say it's sort of a billion pieces of information that comprise the knowledge we can learn. It's more than that. It's a trillion. Trillions, hundreds of trillions, whatever. So when we're a kid, let's say we know one trillionth of it. And we don't think we know anything, so we ask questions and we're curious. That's great. That's what makes sense to do that. That's why kids are so wonderful. Hey, what's that? Hey, what's that? Can I touch that? Oh, ouch, that's hot. So kids learn. And they bring freshness. That's why we love kids. They bring freshness. Oh, look how he's interacting with that dog. Look how he doesn't even know. Oh, he's petting it. He looks a little nervous. It's fun to watch kids because they're so fresh. They're so curious. As we get older, let's say now we know 3 1/trillionths of what there is to know. Somehow, by going from 1 1/trillionth of what there is to know to 3 1/trillionths of what there is to know, we all of a sudden think we know. We don't. We don't really know much more than we knew as babies in terms of the grand scheme of things. We still don't know shit from apple butter compared to what there is to know. So I don't feel like I know much. Okay. I still feel like I'm a little child who has this huge buffet of things before me to learn and experience, and has experienced so little of it. Now, other people look at me and go, wow, you've had a lot of experiences. Yes. As compared to human beings, I've probably had quite a rich experience. I've learned a lot. I've done a lot. I've worked hard, all that stuff. But still, I don't know jack shit compared to what there is to know out there in the world. And because of that, I bring a curiosity every day. I am a child. I'm just a big little boy. I'm a little boy that's 6'4". I'm a little boy that has a driver's license. I'm a little boy who's allowed to vote. But I'm still like a curious little boy. And everyone who knows me, they'll say things like, oh my gosh, you're such a kid. They say that to me. And I always take that as a compliment. Even if they don't mean it that way sometimes, but I can't tell that. It seems like they mean it that way. When people call me a kid, it's almost always a sweet thing, a nice thing to say. They're like, oh my God, you're such a little boy, or you're such a kid. I bring that curiosity because I don't think I know that much. And people who know me well are always like, dude, you always go into everything thinking you're not going to do well. You always go into everything thinking you don't know enough. You always think you're not prepared. And yet you're the most prepared. Well, I was always the most prepared trial lawyer in every trial I did. But I didn't think I was the most prepared at that time. Back then, I thought I didn't know anything. I was scared to death, and I went in over-prepared. But I went over-prepared because I thought that I wasn't prepared. So I drove myself hard. But likewise, since I don't think I know that much about anything, I work really hard to understand everything when I come in front of it. I ask the obvious questions. I bring curiosity, openness to it. So I would suggest that the best answer to your question is, if you want to go have a huge impact in the world, assume you know nothing. Because assuming you know nothing does not erase the knowledge you have. Okay. And assuming you know nothing does not erase what you know. Okay. It can't hurt you to assume you know nothing. So if you go into a situation and you believe that I know this deal. I've seen this 1,000,000 times. Well, guess what? You're going to misread the situation. It's just like if you get to know, let's say you've been married 5 times. Let's say Grace, you've had a real bad run. You've been married 5 times. Now you're divorced. You're looking for a man. You meet a new man. You say, oh, he's just like all the others. Well, no, he's not. Okay. So that's a mistake to think that, right? And if you approach it like all the others, you're going to have a 6th failed marriage. Okay. Right? It's like you're going to keep making the same mistake. But if you look at each day, each person that you meet, each situation you confront, each job you have as totally new and walk in assuming you know nothing, it'll be a huge advantage to you because knowing nothing, you can then start to take this very blank canvas that is your mind, which is openness, which is curiosity, which is a desire to understand what's really going on. And if you bring that to each situation, you're going to bring a freshness, new ideas, enthusiasm, and all the things that we love about children to that new job. Plus, you're going to bring your adult to it because you can't lose what you already know. So that's what people don't do very well, I think. I think most people go into a situation saying, I have the answers. I've been hired to do this. I know what I'm doing. I'm the person. When I was hired to be president and CEO of Chipotle, Steve asked me to go down and talk to a group of area managers. The very first day I was there, said, hey, go talk to them. I said, what do I say? He said, I don't know. Say whatever you want. And he pushed me into this room. And the first thing I said is, hey, guys, I'm the new president and COO. And guess what? They hadn't even been told that Steve was hiring a president. A lot of these people are like, well, really? My God, we have a new president. Oh, my God, really? And I said, hey, my name is Monty. I'm a lawyer. I know some of you know me because I did a lot of legal work for Chipotle. Now I'm president and COO. I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm going to be looking to you to help me. And, basically I started out by throwing myself on the in the guillotine and saying, look, I don't know what I'm doing. I've got some ideas, but I can't wait to get to know you guys. And those, what people thought after I said that? Instead of thinking he's an idiot, why is he here? They thought the opposite. They thought, oh, wow, he's bringing curiosity. He's not pretending he knows it all. How refreshing. He wants to learn from us. How wonderful. And guess what they did? They taught me. Okay. And I used what they taught me to get better. And every single person I met with at Chipotle, and I met with tens of thousands, and a lot of them were first day on the job, 6 months in the job, 3 years on the job. A lot of them were hourly employees who worked on the line. Most of them were hourly employees who worked on the line, the vast majority who I sat with. And I learned from all of them. From the person who's only been there one day, what could that person teach me about Chipotle? You'd think nothing, because I've been to Chipotle by then. I've worked at Chipotle at that time for 10, 11, 12 years, and I've been involved with Chipotle for 20, 21, 22 years. You'd say I must know it all. But that person who's only been there one day actually has a lot to teach me, because I don't know what it's like to be a person who's only been at Chipotle one day in that store in Illinois. And I might find out that our training wasn't great. I might find out that the way their boss hired them made them nervous. I might find out that they didn't feel confident in their ability on the job. I can learn a ton from that person, even though they technically shouldn't know any more than me, but they know what their experience is. And if they're having that experience, so are tens of thousands of people that we're hiring every year. I've got to fix that experience. I've got to make it better so that those tens of thousands of people we hire get an excellent training, get an excellent orientation, feel really confident in their ability, are ready to be empowered and do a great job. So I approach life as if I don't know anything every day. I wake up every day and I go, I don't know anything. And sometimes that makes me, it is hard to be me, because I'm nervous sometimes. Like, oh my gosh. I mean, every job I've ever gotten, I'm like, God, why did they hire me? I don't know anything. I mean, even when I was a lawyer, even when I came to be thought of as a very good lawyer, each case I was like, oh my God, I've never had a case like this. How will I win this one? You know, it's new, it's different. How do I win it? How do I figure it out? How do I be of help to this client? How do I be useful? I never assumed I'm just going to be useful by showing up and saying, hi, I'm Monty. So I had to earn it. I had to earn it through hard work, curiosity, and so forth. And that's funny. Like earlier, you said that it seems like I'm really like nice and kind, but also like I'm a tough boss. You said that at the beginning, you know, there is something tough about me. And you know what it is? It's that I expect that people I work with will be excellent. Okay. And if they are working with me or for me and they're not excellent, I'm going to notice it and I'm not going to like it. Okay. But it's not like I'm just going to be like, oh my God, you're not excellent. If someone's not excellent at what they're doing, well before I know they're not excellent, I'm going to be sitting with them going, hi, how are you doing? And then if I notice they're not excellent, I'm going to be like, I'm going to tell them, hey, the work you're doing, it really isn't great, but you seem like a really smart person. So let's talk about why your work's not great. What's going on? You know, and I'm going to ask questions and be curious and hopefully bring the very, very best version of you out that I can so that you become excellent. Because guess who's going to be rewarded when you're excellent? Everybody. It's going to help me because you're going to be a great member of my team. How are you going to feel going home at night knowing you're excellent, knowing that I think you're excellent, knowing that you think you're excellent, knowing that the people you work with are excellent? I mean, the people you work with know that you're excellent. You're going to feel great. So if I help you become more excellent, you're a winner. I'm a winner. The company's a winner. If I allow you to continue to not be excellent and I tolerate it and think that's fine, you lose, I lose, the company loses. So yes, I'm a tough boss. I expect excellence, but I don't expect excellence just to grow on it, just to happen. I expect that we have to work towards excellence and that I have to help people become excellent by making sure that they are in the right position, that they have the right tools to do their job, that they have the right training, and that they have the right vision and the right and encouraging circumstances so that they can be at their best. But then, yes, I expect them to be excellent. And if they're not, I'm going to start asking questions very, very quickly and very directly. And people with that directness, people actually thrive. They love it. People love it when you notice they're not excellent. Top performers do. They don't love it right away. They're like, oh shit. But if someone's not excellent, if someone isn't excellent, they kind of know it. Okay. So when I see it, at first it's scary. Oh my God, now my boss sees I'm not excellent. Okay. But they're like, okay, but I'm truly not excellent. So let's talk. But if I'm talking to them saying, hey, let's help you be better. You know, they're like, oh, cool. I want to be better. Everyone wants to be better. Sometimes they don't think they want to be better because there's disencouraging circumstances around them. You know, there's the boss is not nice to them and they don't feel good at work. But we got to fix that stuff. You see?
I like that you're being really direct with your colleagues. And in your book, you highlighted about the skill of crisp communication. Curious, how do you communicate that management style to your managers? Since I assume you won't be able to call every store to check in every day, right?
No, I did travel to lots and lots and lots and lots of stores, but no, you have meetings where you bring together your field leadership And you make sure that they understand the philosophy of the company. They understand the way you lead. You teach them to lead in a way that is also empowering to their teams. All right. So the goal is just you get everybody involved in understanding the kind of, your vision, where you're going and how you're going to get there. And you train all of them to do it the right way. And in the case of Chipotle, I mean, people really, really loved it. They were like, okay, this is awesome. I want to do this. I want to be able to build these restaurateur teams. I want to be able to help build teams of top performers who are empowered to achieve high standards. People got really excited about it. And I still get emails every single day. I mean, I don't mean sometimes. I mean, every day. And from people from my time at Chipotle going, oh my God, it was awesome. And we miss you. And thank you so much for what you taught me. And I mean, I get emails every day that bring me to tears because of this culture we created and how much it meant to people. And that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. But it's not something I could just do myself. I had to, make sure that culture was something we built so that everybody was rowing in the same direction. And that's what made it so powerful.
Yeah, you mentioned you traveled to a lot of stores. Did you host a session with all the managers? How do you execute on that?
Yeah, well, actually, we had all manager conferences in Las Vegas where we'd bring every single general manager and a lot of our apprentices or assistant managers, as most people would call them, to Vegas. So, I gave a speech to 3,500 people in a room and talked about this leadership. And we had a multi-day retreat with them where we had people from various aspects of the company come and talk about very, very important things that would help the managers grow and become the very best managers they could be. And so those conferences were very, very helpful. But also I was sending emails all the time to the teams about, hey, here's why I'm promoting this person. Here's what I saw today that really inspired me. Here's something we can all grow from. So I tried to sort of always be preaching the gospel, if you will, of our culture to everybody through email, calling people who had concerns, visiting restaurants and sitting down one-on-one with every single person, right. Talking to field leadership, talking to officers in the company, talking to our corporate office. So just lots and lots and lots of communication. Nonstop, all day, every day, forever.
You talk to all your employees at Chipotle. What is talking to each employee like? Do you set a timer? What do you ask them?
I just sit down and actually want to get to know them. So I just sit down with, it's no particular agenda, except I want to know them and understand them. So I go, hey, how you doing? What's going on? How do you like it here? How long you been here? Where are you from? I mean, I just talk to them just like you talk to someone on a park bench wanting to get to know them. I mean, and I really wanted to know them.
How long is it? Like, did you spend like an hour to chat with each person? Because that's a lot of people, right? Like,
sometimes it might only be 10 minutes. I sat with someone, just talk to them real quick and, hey, it's great. Hey, nice to meet you. Good to get to know you for 5 or 10 minutes. Sometimes it'd be 2 hours if someone was going on and had a lot to say and it was really a rich communication. I sat with hours sometimes because I'd be learning so much from someone. It'd be so profound. And almost always from those long conversations, there was a lesson that was applicable to the entire company from which everyone could grow and learn. You see? So there was no set agenda. And sometimes I'd spend 5 hours in a restaurant. Sometimes I'd only spend 2.5 hours in a restaurant to meet everyone and talk to everybody. But I'd come away with a rich, rich understanding of what was going on in that restaurant that could be applied to all 2,000 plus restaurants.
Before we jump into the fire round, Monty, do you want to introduce us to your new project?
I've got a docuseries called Connected, A Search for Unity that's going to be coming out on PBS in February and March. It'll be on PBS channels throughout PBS stations throughout the entire country. And, it's called Connected, A Search for Unity. And it's about, I basically fly around the country. I go to places that I think are very interesting and meet people from all different walks of life and try to basically extract their knowledge so that everybody can benefit from it. So it's not a political thing. It's not a religious thing. It's actually, you might call it real reality TV or reality documentary. So it's a docuseries about people that are going through all sorts of different kinds of struggles, basically because what I want to demonstrate is what I mentioned earlier, which is that all of us want to be seen, valued, loved, and understood. All of us are going through a life experience that's both difficult and wonderful, and I think there's way too much division, apparent division. When you look at the media, there's thoughts about people don't love each other, don't care about each other, or that there's a lot of fighting and stuff. And I want to prove what I believe and what I've seen on the ground, which is that that's not true. There's a lot less division. When people actually sit to get to know each other, they're very quick to love each other. They're very quick to care about each other. They're very quick to take up effort to help one another. And that's what I've discovered throughout my travels into these places, people from very different walks of life. The first episode is from the people in Canada who are the natives. So, you might say what we call, like we say sometimes American Indian, but these are Canadian Indian. So they like to call themselves the first people or natives. But I went up to the Blackfoot Nation and sat with them because they've got, if you look what the media says about them, well, they've got the highest teenage pregnancy, highest depression, highest suicide, highest alcoholism, lowest education, more high school dropouts. They've got the market cornered on a lot of bad statistics, quote unquote bad statistics. But what's really going on up there? Well, what's really going on up there is you have beautiful people who are incredibly wise, who have this amazing wisdom that all of us could learn so much from. And so just like I sat one-on-one with 20,000+ people at Chipotle and learned from each person and tried to give that wisdom to everybody, now I'm going around the country and sitting down with people from different parts of, around the continent, I should say, and sitting down with people from different walks of life and trying to give that wisdom so we can all benefit from it. I go to Georgia, to Brunswick, Georgia, where the young man Ahmaud Arbery was shot and killed by three guys, who cornered him with pickup trucks, and it was a national story, and it created this sort of riots based on the concern about racism. But is that really what's it like in that community? Well, the answer is it's filled with wonderful people who are filled with wisdom, who love each other. And it is not a community filled with loads of racism, but it's filled with lots of love and care. And in fact, that community didn't even riot because they spoke to each other, they talked to each other, respected each other. It's a beautiful story. And I talked to Ahmad's father, Marcus, his uncle, Gary. I spoke with his mother, Wanda, and they're beautiful people. Who are going through a tragically difficult thing, but still have a lot of love and incredible wisdom. And I talked to civil rights leaders. I also talked to Confederate flag waving, people having a party by the river, and all of them are part of this episode. And it's very, very thrilling. But did one on the border town in Laredo, Texas. We did one up in Maine with the fishermen up in Maine, who it's such a different lifestyle. And we did one in West Virginia, the poorest county in the United States, in a town that used to be a rich coal mining town that's now literally the poorest county in the United States, McDowell County, with the lowest life expectancy and a population that's gone away. And it's, one of these quote unquote dead towns, but it's not dead. What you find is brilliance and wisdom and great people. And so, in all of these episodes, I'm really showcasing the power of the human spirit, the power of human camaraderie and unity, and in a way that I think will help all of us to unite more as a cooperative human race.
Wow. How do you find these people? Like, why these people?
Oh, man. Well, to be honest, you can go fly anywhere and land anywhere and find incredible wisdom. That's what I'm finding. But, I was curious. Okay. I was just curious. I wanted to go meet the Blackfoot Nation because I've always had a fascination with the first people in this country and what it's like to be them. I wanted to meet with, Ahmaud Arbery's parents and find out and go to that community and do the difficult work of finding out what's it like. I wanted to go to Laredo, Texas, a border town. It's the largest inland port in the United States. And it's, and there was a lot of human trafficking, a lot of drug trafficking. There's a lot of issues with, undocumented people coming across the border, cartels. It's fascinating. So I was fascinated. I wanted to go learn about it, and so that's, really, it's just kind of where my heart takes me.
Amazing. So we're at the last part of our episode. So I'm going to do a quick fire round. So please. First of all is, what's your favorite book? Besides your book? It's my current favorite book. So.
Yeah. Probably The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
Oh, nice. Who made the biggest impact in your career?
Oh boy. The biggest impact in my career. Gosh. It's funny. There's all these faces flashing in front of me.
Well, you can name 10.
I can't name a person because I would say the biggest impact in my career was the homeless people at Dairy Queen.
Who would you invite?
And all the crew people at Chipotle. All the crew people at Chipotle. Yeah.
I love it. Who would you invite to your dinner party?
It's a big dinner party if I invite the whole crew of Chipotle, but that would be awesome. The homeless people at Dairy Queen, that would be awesome. I think I would invite to a dinner party the people who I thought would most appreciate a wonderful dinner and who I could learn from.
I love it. This is all your answers are so unique. Where can we find you when you are not at work?
Running, swimming, hiking, trying to be outside probably. Okay. Well, and I should say, if you want to get a hold of me, loveisfree.com.
All right. That's all we have for today. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Smart Venture Podcast. If you like it, please leave us a quick review and hit subscribe so you don't miss any tips from the experts. If you want to receive our updates, please leave your email at smartventurepod.com. If you want to connect with me, all my socials are at Grace Gong GG. Beside LinkedIn, it's just Grace Gong. I'd love to connect with you and let me know your thought about the show. Now you can also listen to Smart Venture Podcast on YouTube. Go to smartventurepod.com, click the YouTube link on the top banner. Don't forget to hit subscribe and smash the like button. See you next time.